I'd like to get into scriptures here and look at defining what discipleship is. Okay, so a couple little points about discipleship. Discipleship is, first of all, it's the call to make disciples. So when we looked at the Great Commission, Jesus said, "Go and make disciples." Well, that's what we do. It's the task of making disciples. We kind of talked about that a little bit last week. So there's kind of a little bit of review and overlap and setting the stage, or connecting from last week anyway. So when we talk about discipleship, we talk about that task of making disciples, the whole overarching thing. This is the Great Commission. This is us doing what Jesus told us to do, make disciples. And the root word there you see is in disciple and discipleship is discipline. The root word is discipline. And what a discipline, so a disciple basically means someone who is disciplined. We talked about that last week. A discipline can refer to a trade. It can refer to the medical discipline, the medical field, or the medical discipline, or different disciplines within the medical field, and all kinds of different disciplines refer to somebody's job, or the military, or martial arts, or different kind of exercise. Or they're and training our children. You remember, not just correcting them, but training them positively and bringing them up into training and admonition of the Lord. That's what true discipline is. We use it as a euphemism for correction, but I don't need to go back to that. So discipline really is not punishment. I guess that's a good thing I connected with that. But discipline is actually, discipline refers particularly to growth, to you and I, you or me growing as a person and getting better and better, building ourselves up and becoming disciplined. But in discipleship, we have a relationship in which somebody disciplines somebody else. Somebody trains someone else, a father to children, a teacher to students. So discipleship was the key term was actually the word for student in the first century, and it really meant a student. The disciples were students of Jesus. So it's similar to mentorship is how we characterize it a lot in the business world, the professional world too. They figured out that just letting people alone to do whatever they want, just give them a few written guidelines to just do your job. People weren't they weren't happy. I guess they weren't functioning at optimal levels, and then people start, once that happens, people stop actually doing their job, and that's when the business people start caring about it, is when the people stop doing their job very well, and they do studies and spend all this money, find out, it's because they're not growing, they don't have a place to go, they don't have promotion capabilities, so they develop all these mentorship plans and sort of give them the best experience and get the most out of them at the same time. So that's become a big deal in the business world, and it's becoming bigger in the church world, and it needs to be, for sure. This is what discipleship is all about. We have teachers and we have disciples. We have disciples. I like to characterize it. We have disciples. We're all disciples, but we also have disciplers. And so our goal is to be disciples, and then go from that to being disciplers. And that means we intentionally invest in people. When we mentor people, we invest in them, and we're intentional about it. We have something to give them. We have the Word of God, the implanted Word, which is able to save our souls. But we have so much here with which to build up one another. We'll look at that from the scriptures a little bit here over the next few minutes. And one thing that a Christian, living as a Christian, means we live with Jesus Christ as our example. He was the ultimate and the first, but the ultimate disciple maker. And so that's what he did, and that's what he calls us to do as well. He laid down his life for us, and he calls us to lay down our lives for him, and then also lay down our lives for one another, but also to go and testify of him and preach the gospel and make disciples, teaching them to observe everything that the Lord has commanded us.